Welcome back to Nothing Less. Y'all, there is no doubt that it is summertime in Texas. The orchard is hot today. I don't know if you noticed, but last time we chatted, we read scripture about pruning, and it just so happened that these trees behind me had been pruned and there were branches all over the ground. I certainly did not plan that. Now here we are 2 months later, and these trees are even more full than they were before they were pruned. That's the point of pruning. Uncle Mike and Aunt Kathy don't have to tend to these trees as much as they did in the spring. Just a little drought and bug protection through the summer. Now, we wait and see what the crop does come harvest time. We wait and see how it develops, how it grows after all of the work they put into tending them early in the season. So while we are waiting, I want to chat and talk to you a little bit more about the rest of the research. Can we be honest and say that we are busy and our plates are full, and at the end of the day, we are all just trying to leverage the time that we do have for the best return? How can we as individuals and parents steward our time in the best way? We've really hit home the number one indicator of a child's future spiritual growth. So now we want to go over the top 15 indicators so we can give you the bigger picture. Also, y'all, there are tons of blogs, articles, opinions on social media, and all of the things that tell us what makes us good parents, our kids good kids, and us good little human beings. One day, this is the best way, and the next day, it's something else. So, how on earth do we wade through all of that? Here's the deal. Our world is incredibly noisy. We have to sort through all of that. That is one of the reasons that this research study really stands out. They've actually done the research in regards to spiritual health. Now, I've got all the answers, but your leaders have cards with the 15 predictors of spiritual health. I want you to hit pause, and as a group, I want you to make your best attempt at putting them in order. Leaders from the retreat can't help. Remember, number one is reading the Bible, so start there. When you come back, I'll lay it all out for you. Let's start with number one. That by far, according to research, had the largest impact. Yep, you guessed it, what we've been talking about all along. Children who regularly read their Bible while growing up was the number one indicator of future. All right, now 2 through 5 all had a moderate impact, which means in the middle. Number 2, children who regularly spent time in prayer growing up. Number 3, a child regularly served in church while growing up. Number 4, a child listened to primarily Christian music. Number 5, a child participated in church missions or projects. Now, 6 through 16 all had the smallest impact, but pay close attention to these because some of them had a negative impact. Number 9, a child connected with several adults at church who intentionally invested in them had a positive impact. Number 10, child was rebellious growing up, had a negative impact. Number 11, parents typically asked forgiveness when they messed up, and it had a positive impact. Number 12, parents pointed out biblical principles in everyday life, had a positive impact. Number 13, a child regularly listened to secular or popular music, had a negative impact. Number 14, a child that had siblings had a positive impact. All right, number 15 is last. A family that dropped in frequency of family church service attendance growing up had a negative impact. So can I throw out a quick disclaimer on a couple of these? I know that specifically being female and having siblings were found to have a positive impact. But please know that it does not anywhere say that being a male or an only child had a negative impact. That is not the case. The Lord gave us, our boys and only children, to shepherd just the same. Also, pay attention to words like regularly and typically. They refer to time, not all of the time, but also not one time. On a scale of 1 to 10, how surprised are you by these? Is there one that really shocks you? Is there anything not on this list as a spiritual influencer that you thought for sure would be on there? We want you to discuss these things with your group this month. Now, I just want to say, do not live with shame and do not snap at your own parents for all of the things that they didn't do when you were a kid. We live in the here and now. We do better because we know better. Use what you learned today to drive what you do from this point forward. Refer to this list when you want to know what really matters in regards to spiritual health. You don't have to spin your wheels and exhaust yourself in legalism. The research is right here. Before I escape into the air conditioning, I want to leave you with this. Remember, at the beginning of today, how we talked about the trees having to do their own thing at harvest time with little help from Mike and Kathy from this point forward? In the book, Jana Magruder said, as our kids grow, they should begin to tend their own soil and set their own agendas regarding spiritual disciplines. With that understanding, we must also remember God's command in Deuteronomy 11 to pass down our faith to them. Deuteronomy 11:19 says, teach them to your children, talking about them when you sit in your house, when you walk along the road, when you lie down, and when you get up. We'll talk to you next time.